And we are back, everyone, to the DreamHack Open featuring Fortnite, where we are in the midst of the grand finals. 2 games down, 4 to go before we crown our victor and reward them with the $16,000 prize pool and, of course, the $250,000 prize pool that awaits everyone at the very end. I'm your host, Hello Kelly Link, and we got none other than Shia Wager and Balla TW as your 2 commentators today. And the winner, I should have believed. I always like to go for the 2-time, 3-time champs, and I doubted myself. I said, no, there's no way that Teak is going to win 3 in a row. And now with a victory royale for him and Seti, I'm feeling like they have a chance, Balla.
Yeah, I think they do too. I think they really do with the way that they're playing right there and the way that their split is working out of Weeping Woods. The respect they're having in Weeping Woods right now is ridiculous. You saw the split from them. They were basically nowhere next to each other whatsoever. Get all the loot and then group up together. That will work time and time again.
And it's so secluded too. Like, you see all these fights going around on the map. They're all like open distances, a bunch of snipes or people pushing each other from a different POI. Slurping in duels doesn't usually push that early into Weeping. Might happen in trios and solos. At the same time, there's so many trees around that it's hard to even start fights off. They have a safe early game, they make it to late, and they played that kind of weird zone out perfectly.
Well, look at that. With that victory royale, Seti and Teak now up in 3rd place, but Paco and Cammy seem to be the shining stars today with an average placement of 2nd. They've gone 2 second placements now in the first 2 games, one with 5 eliminations and another with 8 eliminations. If there is a team to beat, it is definitely them. But Vidil and Noah Riley, you guys in your predictions doing so well right now, currently in 2nd place. Teak and Seti's going to be in 3rd. Kiriachi and Putrick still holding up well in 4th place. And then Refsguard and Scram, the team that we got to interview right before the grand finals, is making their way up to 5th.
And you see Benji Savage as well. They had a really good game. 6th place with 5 eliminations compared to their first game where they only got 18th place. So that path out of ruins for them worked a little bit better up to Stark Island, but the low ground play was phenomenal from Mr. Savage. You saw Benji actually fall pretty earlier in that one, and Mr. Savage cleans up a little bit. Going back to Vidil and Noah Riley, though, I thought that they were going to be able to actually maintain this 1st place. It's not too far, 11 points. But the way that they played, W King all the way through, they got 8 elims in that one. Like, that is some crazy stuff because they didn't even last past like top 18 or something in that one. No, it was a 9th place.
9th place.
9th place, which was, 7th zone, 8th zone, something like that. But basically my point is that if they continue this W King presence and are still getting this average placement above top 10-ish, then it might start to be a wrap because sometimes you'll do what Vidil did in game number 1, clutch to 3rd place. And sometimes too, you're gonna have both of them alive in an end game and on height. We can pretty much guarantee that in the next 4 games, they might be up on height. So you'll have to see if that happens. The way that they're playing right now is stellar, but dangerous.
Well, speaking of height, we have to talk about that Stark Industry Circle and the rotation with everyone dropping off there. If you guys were put into that position, let's say that you guys were a duo in these grand finals and you saw that circle rotate off of Stark Industries, what would you have done in that situation?
I know what would happen. I'd be like, yo, box up, look north, look north. And he'd be like, yeah, I'm throwing a shockwave. He'd throw a shockwave, we'd go flying in his zone. He'd be like, no, you're fine, crash pad in. And then he'd come back in, we'd get back, box up together. And then he would split from each other, shockwave again. Actually, I'd probably have the shockwaves. And he'd be trying to direct me.
The games that me and Balla have played, they always go really well until Balla says, I have an idea, get in my box. And we shockwave, the bouncer doesn't come out, and we end up in another lobby in a few seconds. So that's why we're casting grand finals.
Then let's say it's not you. Let's say it's the team that deserves to be in the grand finals. What would you have done in that situation if you guys were them?
Wait, yeah, it's a matter of patience. The later you kind of drop, the higher you end up, dropping down to. And Teak and Seti waited the longest. I think they took a little bit of zone damage as well. They went straight up as well. They didn't jump down like a bunch of teams that you saw. That added velocity going up and hanging in the air and then dropping down. They had a claim on the whole server.
It was basically, I forget who was holding height before that. I'm trying to look through the standings right now to figure it out. But in any case, that team had height before it went off the mountain. And because it went off the mountain, they have to drop drastically in height because, again, if they're at height on Stark Island, they're probably at max height. And if they drop off of it, then all of a sudden, anybody could look up and just take them out. So they can't take that risk. Sure, if they had bouncers, maybe they will do that kind of sneaky height play and just wait up there for a while. But in any case, because they drop down, that gives the opportunity to the late movers, Teak and Seti, like Shio said, wait. And high ground ends up being free. And for them, they just calmly, cautiously move through the different layers, slowly and methodically moving down to low ground while everybody else has already gone down there. And they pick up tons of elims and also wait so long and save so many materials to end up winning that game. It was too easy.
Yeah, I really think that kind of speaks on them as a team to realize that, like, yes, we're going to take zone damage here, but I think it's better to kind of see where everyone else is landing, give ourselves an opportunity to take a breath and kind of be away from the action and to regroup. And obviously that worked for them because they got a victory royale out of it. So congratulations to Teak and Seti, but they're only in third place right now. Paco and Cammy, as well as No Riley and Vadil, definitely seem to be ahead of the rest. In fact, if you go from first all the way to fourth, there's a 60-point difference right now. So it definitely seems like the top three are starting to stretch away from the rest of the pack here. If you guys were one of these teams, 4th through 50th, how are you going to change up your game plan right now, Shayo?
Find your play style, right? Like find what makes your duo the duo and how you play your game specifically. Like if I'm looking at the top three right now, we have the underdog type of gameplay of Paco and Cammy. They always like to stick together box to box. They know if they're both surviving, they're fine, right? Then like what me and Levin dubbed Vadil and Noah Riley, yin and yang, right? Every time they're together, they can fight a lot more. They're always spinning around everyone else. As soon as one goes down, though, there's some type of full trust, but they usually fizzle out. So I think the common thing when I'm looking at here is staying together, I think, is what the 4th and 50th place duos need to do.
And to compound on that a little bit, that's what Cammy are. That's what they're doing. Like literally, Cammy and Paco are sticking together like this, right next to each other. I think everybody else is in this trios mode where you have 3 people and you have a longer distance, so you can kind of play a little bit more spread. But they're also looking at the results of FNCS trios and saying, oh my goodness, this team down on low ground, the teams who were playing low ground are doing so well consistently, both on NA East, on EU, everywhere. They're doing very well. And that's, I think kind of the shift in meta that happens quite often. Teams all go down the low ground and all of a sudden it's inefficient unless you're playing like Cammy and Paco.
Are we going to have a new team claim the first place spot, or is it still going to be one of these 3 teams up here? Well, we're going to find out real soon, everyone, but we do have a quick break before we get into game number 3. So grab a snack and make sure to come back in time because you're not going to want to miss it.
Whoa, we're halfway there, but none of these players are going to be living on a prayer because with game number 3, halfway through the competition, it's all skill in these end game zones.
Let's go. Yeah, okay, you're done with the catches today. You are done. Vetoed. I got them from here on out, guys. Don't worry, that will never happen again. Game number 3. And we're right. It's not even halfway, bro. It's like you guys always do this. Like,
man, I'm not going to say on
3.
Game number 4. Like mathematically,
yeah,
3 for 6. You can't just go on 4. It doesn't feel right.
That's not how it works. It's not how math works. Like, anyways, save it. Quick knock on the visitor. Focus back up. Who's the other player here? Browner's actually engaged on him. He's very, very low HP. He's sneaking away. There we go. It's Joel. Browner found himself some space. Yes, the mini's thrown too. But Joel has basically nothing to farm up inside, so not going to be able to hold on as Savage starts to get mats. There's also Browner too, although he comes from the sneak attack. It might change things up very quickly. Has to win the fight up on Savage, but Browner will get back up now as well. Low HP now for Savage. Can Joel turn this around? Can he do it? He drops in the box. Yes, so far so good, but Browner will be in the same box as he goes for the finish instead of the shot on the Browner. And there you go, Savin and Browner. Now 76 points in the finals here for Savin. Not playing with Scully in the grand finals, and they're actually in the top 10, 10th place right now for these guys.
Every other game has kind of been Browner's picks that get them these crucial, refreshes, crucial stoppages on top tier trios. We saw Savage go down in game 1 to Browner. Past that in game 2. I believe ForceZR was there as well. And he got picked off. We'll see CRR now pushing forward, still at 0 points.
Yeah. And this could be another one, though. Finally, Kiriachi and Putrick are the ones disengaging here from Slurpy Swamps. Not sure where they ended up dropping the first game. I'm going to assume that this fight ended up happening, although potentially it was only game number 2 that they switched to it, given the fact that they ended up 50-50ing at the cigar. They're still chasing, but Kiriachi and Putrick have found themselves all the space and the time. CR only has a pistol. Hopefully Wolfies is something good. Otherwise, this is a disastrous push right now. Wolfies will be the first man up there. Kiriachi will end up holding on. CR, though, hiding very smartly. Putrick might fall for his trap.
I've seen this track before, man, from CR and Wolfie's album. It's called Grifo Mode. Like, I just don't feel like this remix or iteration has like the proper 808s, the proper melody or beat at all. Like, look at this. I mean, he's in the box. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Never mind. Pause the track. Wait, hold up. Might be kind of a banger. He doesn't even let him shake him down.
You knew that's it. He didn't even get the siphon from it too, CR. Like, it's like, I need it, please. And also, Putrick is nowhere to be found right now. There he goes, finally on the backside of this wall. Almost takes it. He might try to phase in against you. I wouldn't blame him if he could take out Wolfies, but no. Can they find the space right now? 9 builds for CRR. Wolfies probably low as well in terms of builds. Another fight breaking out too. Scram against Shaco and Gray. This fight has happened previously. And here we go. Like they said, off spawn, they won't lose if somebody contests them. And that was quick. Perfect. Back to the other fight.
They gotta go get a new game plan because I don't think Steamy Stacks is gonna be the best place to drop against the trio or the duo that said that they were really confident, really powerful, and they have been performing really well. Moving on to Starks as well over and over again, going for picks. I think Marine and Jasper are next on the list for them.
This fight's still ongoing. The issue that Wolfies has always had is in these extended fights. He never finds the time for himself to farm. Meanwhile, CRR is doing just that, so hopefully that will fix it. He gets the piece control on Putrick, but the back wall's not theirs. CR goes down. Wolfies has to clutch, and he does. Thankfully, finally, 10 points on the board and surviving off spawn. Wolfies and CRR. Hey, that path, you said that track that we've seen before, you know how this starts to go. They start to try to be like Noah Riley and Vidil, but with less hopes, less dreams, and less care.
Listen, the hook might sound good. It always does, but it's like their verse that kind of flops every time. Like, Kiriachi's not going to be, you know, happy about this at all. And next game won't just be looting, right? He's going to be now at the same level of aggression over at Slippery Swamps. We've seen how hard he can clap back. I don't think next game will go to plan. Another fight, Raxo Artur versus Thomas HD and Tayson. And there's Podesai up top with Mason, who might be watching and third partying soon. Fight starts. Is it going to commit, though, is the real question.
I can't believe there's a team based up already on top of the Stark Industries Hill. Maybe that's to guard the vault. In any case, this fight breaking out. Yes, they're in the same box. Thomas HD is down. It's all left to Tayson right now against 2. They've gotten the finish as well. A big tag on Araxo. Tayson doesn't trade too hard. They do get him edited down, though. And he baits him into both of them. Shotguns out. Well played.
I was surprised Podesai didn't drop down. Felt like after they saw that knock, it should have been easy going to get even more so into that fight.
They're more focused on the vault, I guess. Hen is there.
Be there. He's gonna be there 24/7.
They're actually getting pushed by Hen, surprisingly. And he does take out Mason. So up on that hill, Hen has gotten 1. I don't see. Yes, X-Squeeze is there as well. So Artur and Raxo might end up getting involved. Hen takes out Podesai as well. So never mind. That fight finishes. Alright, the snipe knocks Hen down. X-Squeeze is gonna get back on top. That's probably the cue for them to disengage and not end up fighting. Maybe get over towards that vault if there's any leftover goodies. Hen and X-Squeeze have switched drop spots, it feels like, all 3 games. First time it was on Stark, the lake. Then it was Doom's Domain. They got swept by Vidil and Noah Riley, who've already gotten an Elim somehow in Doom's Domain. Still one more person to find here. But then X-Squeeze and Hen, looks like they landed at the Industries itself, the way that they pushed that team. So,
I mean, almost worked out for these guys over in trios. That's what I'm thinking about, a different trio that just switched over to Starks and then started to boom game after game. Regardless, it's a strat. It's a strat if the games aren't going as well as planned. Right now, another fight breaking out at Logjam between Dennis Reason and Omega and Lucia. We'll see what happens. Ooh, I mean, we're gonna see some one pumps fast though. Omega down. Now a 2v1 against a duo that's so good at waiting for you first, but Reason might have just waited too long before a pre-fire. And Janus does not have that much HP. He's up against a purple pump, and he gets wiped out up in the skies.
Once again, a push where the fight is too hectic, I guess. I don't know. Usually we see them winning these fights, but maybe it's just not quite knowing each other perfectly yet. That duo still has plenty of time to work things out, but for right now, it's not looking like they're actually working together. They're just individually trying to take these fights, and sometimes that works. But I think Janus and Reason are really good at team fights. Right now, it doesn't look like they're fighting as a team, though.
It doesn't matter who would have won that fight either, though, because we have some more bystanders activating. Wolfies and CRR are right under that base. They've started in knowing exactly who's at that fight. They're confident Noah Riley and Vidil in the zone this time, and it's looking kind of bad for Vidil. His shield is there, his health ticking down. Noah Riley's the one in the tougher spot. He needs to find Vidil for those chuck splashes. He does. They're all the way back up, but this is the last white heals I believe that they have. Need to win this fight fast too. Crashpad does not find a single player at all. Cavado, Letwick move over slightly towards zone.
Time to get out of here. Somehow. Find a car or something. Right now, Letwick looks like he's about to go down. Maybe a medkit being popped. That's why he's standing still. Cavado gets beamed, though. And now they're back on the offensive. Letwick just barely gets the medkit off, and he's now back in fighting condition. He's now back into it. Oh, through the window, though. They got him inside the box. Another crash pad will try to go in. Letwick, Cavado. Yes, the pinch. Noah Riley does go down. They do trade, but it does not matter. Once again, they win Doom's Domain. Once again, against a team that switches their spot. You saw that first engagement. The very first one that we watched was actually X-Squeeze and Hen against Cavado and Letwick at Stark Islands. Game 2, it was Hen and them that ended up going to Doom's Domain. This time, it was the team that they ended up losing to in game number 1. But Vidil and Noah Riley still stand tall as kings of Doom's Domain for now.
It's a rough fight for that throne, though, man. It was going straight in the zone, game after game after game.
Isn't it always? Isn't it always?
Yeah, that's true.
There's always one spot that's just...
Even if it's not like a drop, snipers are there too. And that's the thing on EU, I feel like we see every game. From a different duo, though. Usually it's Thomas HD landing some crazy long-range shots. And actually finding Steelix, so these guys are still fighting. That's some good surge tags there. Wolfies has moved on. I think he might have picked up Lucia as well from Logjam. But they're at the gas station. They're trying to fuel up here. I'm not sure if CRR is still alive. He is. He's on the side there. Yeah. That sniper has a gold pump. At the same time, this looks really good as a loadout. I don't think these guys want to fight completely. They don't want to go to a 2v2 that goes all the way towards the end. They want to base up and possibly look for tags. They do fight, though. They're going to have a huge advantage.
CRR is not convinced, as Wolfies is. He hasn't joined up, gotten on the walls, anything like that. He's actually kept his distance for quite some space, and now Wolfies is actually backing off. Bat Sniper with just a little blue tag will end up taking out Wolfies, and that's the difference, right? CRR is trying to say, let's disengage. Let's play this a little more smart. Instead, he's not able to control Wolfies, and that cost them the game. Once again, CRR is out of here, back to the place that they started at Slurpy Swamps.
It's not all bad, though. If there were, like, 20 games to play, and Wolfies and CRR got 15 points every game, they could be top 10.
Yeah, if there were 20 games to play?
If there were 20 games to play.
Maybe that's what he's asking for on Twitter right now.
Man, these guys are on a roll as well. 4 eliminations for Hen, 2 now for X-Squeeze, and this fight's not even over yet. There's more players to get. Hen doesn't even want to shield back up. He's in that fight. Pumps are still trading. 1 for 1 for 1 for 1.
This is the team that pushed off of Stark Industries very quickly and got engaged in all those different third parties. So now 6 eliminations. They're doing what Vidil and Noah Riley did, but in a worse situation now. Zone moving, going south for the first time away from the north side of the map. First it was Doom's Domain, then it was Stark Industries. Now we have a more central Endgame approaching, and Recon will stay in the zone. So thankfully, they don't have to worry about the team on their back. All they have to worry about is anybody up in front. Can they get the beams? I think he's going to go down. No campfire there. He has shockwaves, so he did get into zone, but ends up falling to Cammy anyways.
Hey, free for Cammy. Even further in first now.
We just see Fadil and Noah Riley get 2 elims already,
Yeah.
so not necessarily. As it was an 11-point game before this. Nice shot, X-Squeeze. Might not have a sniper, but that long-range energy rifle hurts.
And it's also insane to think about the fact that because of Stark rifles, like just the amount of damage Storm Surge kind of changes by. The average damage every trio or duo is kind of doing. These guys get beamed by 2 bullets too, lose all their shields, but they're 2,300 damage above Surge.
6 eliminations will do that. The crazy part though is they've gotten like 200 damage on just tags of elims that didn't even go through for them. Meanwhile, Bad Sniper and Kura, who got Swolfies down, they're getting the truck through and break line of sight. Well done for them, but they want even more with this truck. Center of third would be perfect, but okay, they do get it. It's fine. They idle a little bit. Kura ghost rides it for a brief time, but they've got center third. This is what they wanted.
They lost the truck though. There's not going to be any truck dead side rotates, man. It's so much stronger too in duos because like no one can jump into that passenger seat. They're forced onto the back, and that's like no one wants that. And you're clutching and trying to make it free.
Yeah, nobody even opts for it, but anyways, that's not going to be the case. I think in duos it's much harder to get the cars through because 2 people shooting it makes it just blow up so fast. That's one of the reasons we saw it not really be used too much in trios, although with 3 people, you had 3 people in 3 cars. That was different. How do they move from here? X-Squeeze and Hen outside his zone still. Thankfully, it's not on the side that Vidil and them were, but it is Artor and Raxo. Not a team that you want to fight. Nike gets sniped. 7tor and Link are right there too. They hear the carnage and they want in. And you know they'll get in. Aggressive team, but not super aggressive out of the teams out of Russia, Western Europe. Sorry, Eastern Europe.
This duel right now of Nike and Andy, like they've been so good at fighting early. Link and 7tor kind of had that short end of the stick every single game. Right now, they're trying to go over these shots back to back. It's not going to be able to land much damage. Nike actually goes down. After that, another duo comes in. Pablo and Munch take them out in the blink of an eye. And they have a full goal loadout in terms of Link and 7tor. I wonder what 7tor has as well. This is kind of insane. 8 crash pads. Link is doubling down. A gold pump.
Blowing down, and Munch get through. Looking for the rest of the teams that we're really paying attention to. Teams like Paco and Chem, we saw on that center mountain earlier, pick up the elim on the player leaving the ruins. Link does find Artor down below, and he is low, but now spending some time in the zone. He's going to sneak him, yes, from the backside. It can catch you by surprise, but Artor's paying attention now. He has the advantage of zone, but has so many other teams firing upon him. Oh, it does flip for a second there. Thankfully, the lobby focus doesn't start until now, and 7tor's there to be able to build against.
Like has that shieldfish too. 2 big pots. He's going to be looking good, but don't have that many reserves. I think just minis on 7tor. We have to still get an update as to what he has. Past that, there's still Edge Zone, and Vidil and Noah Riley are right beside. So that's not a good place to be, a duo to be beside at all. Everyone will move though. I don't think there's going to be many fights breaking out.
I think on the topic of Noah Riley and Vidil, the way that they had to fight their way out of zone, out of Doom's domain against Cavado and Letwick means that they will be a little bit more reserved in this game. They're not going to be W King as much because they just don't necessarily have the tools to do it, but maybe that's also an argument for them to continue playing aggressively. They're definitely going to need it now going into the fourth circle because it's so far away, and we know there's another one. Yes, Noah Riley does pick up one. Here's Cammy, here's Paco. They've made it up on the north side of the fourth zone, potentially to catch fifth. Benji and Savage are right there with them.
Sunny and Teak are there too. These guys have one of the best bases on this map. Being towards that high ground is going to be so important when there's so many hills in play. We saw it in that last game when everything went off of Stark Industries. Being high up on and then being patient after the fact is what wins you these games once the zone starts to move. Chapix also comes through, so all these teams that know where to be positionally are choosing the exact same base in the same spot. This is the place to be. I think Refsguard might move here too with Scram in just a second.
Those who are in zone might not opt for better positioning just to not move. Trying to see if Hen and them did get in. It looks like they did on that west side. Refsguard's down. Oh, actually, 2x Squeeze. So they're involved in a fight on the side of zone. Cammy might actually start spraying. Yes, he actually recognized it. Scram goes down. Noah Riley's still fighting on the edge of zone too. He picks up another one. I do not know how he's consistently finding these, especially in this zone. In this zone, it would have been the worst time for them to implement that strat of fighting on the edge of zone where they expect not too many people to look at them, where they can break line of sights. This zone was not that, but it's still working somehow.
And right now, the only way these two duels can communicate, Cammy and Paco, Vidil and Noah Riley, is with eliminations. And I think it looks like Vidil and Noah Riley are ahead now in first place going into this endgame because they have been shouting more. They have more elims. And both teams can see that on that elim feed too. A huge slew of eliminations coming in as Storm Surge is going to be a factor and tick down. One more person needs to go through. These guys are looking fine. What will Cammy and Paco do? Playing low ground here is going to be very, very difficult.
But there's other threats too. We've talked about their style and what makes them so good at low ground. The way that they stick close together. Opposite of what you might expect in trios. They're going to go for a little bit of high ground here right now. At least, yes, they found the bouncer. Yes, this is really nice. They're going to be able to either crash pad modify or shockwave modify and get all the way to zone. Potentially even up on a height, but no, it's another mid-ground layer once again.
And this is good. Even Benji and Savage, the guys that we saw committing to low ground on a Stark Industry circle that they knew was going to go through and jump off the map, they've gone towards ultimate height as well. No one wants to touch the floor when there's so many hills and the dam and the lake coming up too.
And also notice how Cammy protects his floor too. A third layer of protection, a stair down below, because of how quickly a duo can knock down floor and a cone. And if you're not paying attention, if you're just doing something else, firing out of your box for just a brief instant, that's you guys both falling into another person's box and ended up getting knocked out.
We have a kind of a little bit of an election here for who wants to be president of height so far. Some candidates, we have Teak and Seti up top. I just saw Nathan and Alex, winners from before. They were at that spot in the leaderboard in FNCS duos. Also trying to go for height. Rifla and Slicks are there again. They got taken over, and Benji and Savage are also close by.
Everybody also down on the bottom left of the screen are down below the dam of Misty Meadows. That's Skite, that's Falconly, that's Saver, that's Browner, that's potentially Noah Riley and Vidil. Robabs and Snazy, yes, a couple shockwaves with a bouncer modifier will get you up, but if you don't have that, you have to build up. And that's so tough, and it's going even further up the hill as well. Lincoln 7 Tour trying to climb their way through. It's against Nathan and Alex. Savage and Benji still alive in this one. This could be a bouncer modified shockwave as well. Up to height, Seti's there. So we know game 2 winners right now maintaining heights. Link has just wiped Nathan and Alex. We moved away from him for an instant, and he wipes out the champs, like you mentioned.
And on the mid ground, things are changing too. Hen and X Squeeze actually taking a lot of damage and cannot dish any back as they have to move. Noah Riley is up, but I don't see Vidil anywhere at all. He's been getting solo elims, I think, this entire time, and he's still on the backside of zone trying to move in. I think X Squeeze just went down. Yeah, he goes down, so now it's all up to Hen to do what he needs to do. Benji and Savage moving in the same lane as other individuals, other duos in their Tart 4ZR. At a sliver of HP, he's getting focused. He gets tagged down by Benji trying to get the safety.
Benji and Savage didn't have the best game 1, but did respond with a great game number 2. Now in a box again, we saw this. We saw this last game. Benji escapes, just mere instance. This time he gets away again. Savage not too far away. Is he gonna be able to regroup? Yes, they're right together. Skite gets one. They got over the dam. 7th zone though, pulling up the mountain, potentially into that central area with the Sentinels. That block your path.
They were on flight before in the sky, but now they're back at home all the way down on low ground. Savage leading the charge, a switch up from how things were going last game. 2 elims for these guys so far, 15 teams left. Benji on the backside trying to drop people down. There is Amy taken down. The first place duo is split in half.
Finally, Cammy and Paco are split for long enough for Benji to find the hole, and Paco goes down too. He tries to get revenge, but that's not enough. So Benji and Savage have claimed the mid-ground layer, low ground as well. This time moving forward, they've got 4 elims. Now it's time for them to potentially rise up into contention with Seti, with Teak, with Noah Riley, with Fadil. Yes, another one. It's Kinzel. Kinzel goes down, and now Benji and Savage still maintain now in the top 10. That's better than their game 1 and already better in terms of eliminations. They're improving game after game. This is going to be another one. Yes, they're going to fall onto 7 Tour, onto Wakey, but he's got a nice little peanut butter peak. Savage will take him out, and another one for Benji. 70 elims. The shockwave forward away. He pulls him off. Seti goes out of high ground, but it's not enough. Benji almost hit one of the most ridiculous flicks off a height to potentially secure it. He gets back up though. Teak now also. Chug Splash is available. 3 teams left. 1 full duo.
Everything's slightly more quiet too. Everyone has their own space. It seems like Benji split apart the entire server, not only with the plays, but all that low ground commotion. Now it's just beams. Dual Media taking a shot from Snazy box to box. He gets taken out. Snazy versus Seti and Teak, and it looks like these guys will be your back-to-back game winners here with just one more pump. Teak wraps it up, but there were so many other highlights. I'm wondering how this leaderboard will look.
Yeah, Seti and Teak, in either case, right now they're laughing as we do approach and pass the halfway mark. Game number 4, they're probably going to be in the lead, so we'll take a look at that leaderboard and also get into that after this.